Well, it's time to get your plant and garden questions answered. And Lisa Briggs is standing by at the Bruce Company. Hi, Lisa.
Hey, guys, how are you?
Beautiful afternoon it turned out to be.
I know it's gorgeous. Temperature's just perfect.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to get right to this. So we have a viewer who lives in the middle of the drought area.
The extreme drought area.
Extreme drought area. And they were, apparently last week you were talking about if we have a hard winter, some trees might die, and it might be necessary to water them this fall. So she has old pine trees. She wants to know how should she water them, how often, and how much during this watering session. It's a lot.
Okay, so yes, as drought affects trees, it does limit their ability to prepare for winter. And so it sort of starts a cycle. Trees are stressed by the drought and they get stressed by the winter, and there can be damage or in some cases, death of things. Big pine trees or spruces, since they like drainage, is probably not as critical as if you had like a red bud or maybe a beech or birches. But I would still water. So how she should water, best thing to do is to get a soaker hose, you know, that weeps, and go around the drip area and just water it for a tree that big, probably a couple of hours, you know, maybe every week to 10 days.
Okay.
Unless it rains. And then that would help if it rains.
Yeah, don't water the base because the roots are spreading out. That's what you got to get the water to.
Yeah, the roots are out here. Exactly.
All right, so Deb has African violet plants. She wants to know how to get them to flower again. Do I need to use a special fertilizer?
African violets will flower better if you use African violet fertilizer, and we do have that available in the garden center.
Okay, great.
Okay. Now, Debbie is asking, why would Stella de Oro daylilies stop blossoming the last few years?
Oh, well, daylilies there could be a couple things. Maybe where they are, they've gotten more shade than the daylilies can tolerate. They need about 5 or 6 hours of sun to flower properly. So it might be that trees have gotten bigger or that's shadier. It also might be that if she's fertilizing with a heavy nitrogen fertilizer, then it would be producing a lot of really lush growth at the expense of flower buds. So check how much sunlight they're getting, and then also I would make sure that if she's fertilizing that area, that she keeps the fertilizer away from the daylilies.
Okay. Mary plans to plant a dwarf cherry tree in a large container for the outside. What kind of rock should she use at the bottom of the container, and how much? She lives in a condo, so that's why it's going in a pot.
So I'm going to say, first of all, that it's really can be difficult, depending on what the winter's like, to get woody plants to overwinter in containers. We usually want things in a container not a whole lot bigger than the root ball, but in the case of trying to winter something over, she would want a larger container because she wants to insulate the roots. I wouldn't put rocks in the bottom of it unless she's worried about like a, you know, like if it's a really windy area, and if that's the case, just something at the base. What she does want to make sure is that she's got proper drainage in that pot, because cherry trees hate wet feet.
Okay.
Oh, so do I. Okay, so this viewer has a hibiscus plant in their garden, and it's doing very, very well, but would like to transplant it to a suitable pot and try to save it over the winter for the next garden season. It would be kept in a sunny room. So they're wondering if they should prune it down or what they should do to save the plant.
Well, there are hardy hibiscus, so if that's what they have, they should just leave it where it is. If it's a tropical hibiscus that they put in the ground, then yes, to winter that over, they're going to have to put it in a pot. They're going to want to use potting soil and not a lot of the garden soil, and then they're going to want to put it in the heaviest, or not the heaviest, in the brightest area in their house, the sunniest window. Pot should be a little bit bigger than the root ball is, and again, needs to have good drainage so that the plant doesn't drown.
Okay.
All right. Bob wants to know when's the best time to cut back outside perennial plants.
You could start any time now. I'm going to do some of mine this weekend. If you've got things that have had diseases, like if you had powdery mildew on phlox or something like that, you want to make sure that you don't put that stuff in your compost pile, that you get rid of it. So anything that has any kinds of disease issues, that you're going to want to take back before the winter and then discard it.
Okay.
Nancy would like to know, can I dig up my dahlia tubers and replant them next spring?
Absolutely you can. She could wait a little bit. You don't really have to do it till there's a frost. If her dahlias are still producing flowers, she might as well enjoy those. And then when she digs them up, cut back the foliage and let the soil around them dry out a little bit, and then carefully brush it away and lay them in a box in a cool, dark, airy place. Check them, I would say, every month or so to make sure that she doesn't have any mold setting in. Make sure that they're staying firm and not getting squishy.
A lot of cleaning up questions
Yeah.
today. I guess it's that time of year.
It's a lot of stuff.
It is.
All right, we have more questions, but we don't have time, so maybe we'll do them on the noon show on Monday. So
Okay.
tune in then.
Sure.
Okay?
Okay.
All right, thanks, Lisa. Thank you all
Okay.
for writing in. Great questions.